Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Phantom Strategies. So in this video I want to cover AirSwap. This is one of the altcoin that I have been following for a while actually, and recently early in January, just like a lot of altcoins, it made all-time high around $2.20. The data that I'm looking at right now, this is getting calculated by TradingView, and this data is coming from Binance. So we made that all-time high around 220. Since then it came down, tried to make a bounce toward the all-time high. It did not work. Since then we have been in this steady downtrend, and finally around the 20 cents mark, it seems like that it found the bottom, which is like, you know, almost buying at the, like, you know, the lows of this of the inception of this coin. So right now what I'm seeing is there is a nice U pattern that's going on, and it tried to break this downward. The pink downward resistance is that first resistance trend line, and it tried to break that a couple of days ago. A lot of volume came in, but I don't really see, the one thing that I really don't see is like, you know, usually when you see this kind of like a volume, it's usually driven by a big event or a news driven volume, but I don't see anything that's in the online related to AirSwap. If you have heard anything, then let me know, post it in the comment, but I don't see that in the news, or I don't see that in the anything that I'm like searching right now. So can this breakout, is it going to be sustainable? That's the big question right now, because a lot of breakouts that we have seen in past 2-3 weeks, they, out of maybe like 10 breakout, maybe two or three of them were really sustainable, but not all of them. A lot of them kind of broke out, came right back, broke out, came right back. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical about this breakout right now. That being said, that doesn't mean that, you know, this breakout will not follow through. We just have to wait and see, and we have to just trade accordingly. So all we can do is, like, you know, trade based on what we see, and trade based on, you know, probabilities, making sure the odds are in our favor when we are placing the trade. So when you're placing the trade at those 220, the odds are not in your favor, right? If you're placing the trade right here at the bottom, yeah, the odds are more in your favor, but still you have to use your risk management. You have to put your stop losses and all those good stuff. So seeing some heartbeat in AirSwap right now. The question is, can we get clear of the resistance, this red trend line that is that will be the one that we want to get through? All right. So the volume is starting to pick up. That's a very good thing. A lot of volume is picking up. The only thing that I don't like, or maybe I'm not seeing it, is I don't see any news driven thing that is causing this, or like anything that announcement. So another thing you can come and check is on coincheckup.com. So when you come to coincheckup.com and search in like AirSwap or any other coin, and when you go to this events tab, you will see the events for that coin. For example, for AirSwap, there is no event that is showing up on the roadmap right now. But let's say if I look at Tron, okay, so if I look at Tron and if I go to the events, okay, alright, so you will see there's a coin burn that is coming up on March 30th on Tron, and that's one of this good feature that Coin Checkup just implemented regarding regarding the events. And a lot of this is a very good feature because you want to be you do want to know what kind of events that are coming up in a coin, and you want to be aware of those things. If they are going according to the plan, if they are getting implemented correctly, or if there are any drawbacks, and just getting like informed basically on any events that's coming up. So you can use this website to check up the events. That will be any coins that you're looking at, any other coins that you might be looking into your research. So keep that in mind. All right. So Tron is again, there's some coin burn is coming. I will make a video on Tron separately. It's been a while. But there is nothing that is coming up for the AirSwap. For AirSwap coin, there's nothing coming up. So I'm a little bit puzzled why we have this huge volume spike in last few days. All right. As far as the trade goes, yeah, you can make a trade right here, right? If you really want to get into the trade, and if you're an active trader, you can start the position right at, let's say if you start a position at 28 cents. So let's say if I'm starting a long position at around 29, let's say 29 cents, right? So I want to make sure that I'm not taking too much risk in this trade, because still the overall market is very volatile, right? So I want to make sure that my the downside risk is limited. So maybe I want to keep that risk underneath like that 5% stop loss. So I don't want to take too much risk just because the overall market condition hasn't improved much. The BTC is still under 8,300, and the overall market still have that the FUD news that we saw yesterday is trying to tackle that. So I would like to have that tighter stop losses right now, just to be on the secure side. And making sure that I'm not getting sucked into it. And then having the target at the price level that are very, very healthy target points. Like the first target point I will take is the previous high, which was around 40 cents mark. So that's a 40% profit. If this trade goes according to the plan, that's a 40% profit. So that's amazing profit, and especially in this bear market right now we are sitting in, or bearish type of market that we are sitting in right now. So yes, there is a trade, and I mean this is the scenario number one that you can use. Another scenario that you can use is maybe starting a small position, but the only thing about starting a small position in this kind of market, in a coin like AirSwap, it's not a very, it seems like a good project, but it hasn't been tested enough, right? So it hasn't been really tested enough yet. So maybe going in a very small position and then adding on to the position if it comes further down to perhaps maybe 10% or 20%, then you add more. But scenario number one, going with the stop losses, seems to be fairly straight right now. You already know your downside risk is under 5%, and your upside target, which is under 40%, around 39%, which is very healthy. So once you get into this kind of trade and the trade starts moving in your position, then make sure you put up bring up your stop losses to maybe 2%, negative 2%. Maybe then if it goes further more in your direction, then bring it to a break even. So once you bring it to the break even point, you know that you cannot lose any money in that trade. That will be the ideal scenario, that you want to make sure that you're bringing those stop losses up and up toward your target points. All right. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to bring this up since I was scanning some coins. The only thing, as I mentioned, I'm just a little bit skeptical about this breakout, or you want to call it the bounce or whatever. The volume is picking up, that's for sure, and that's a good sign. But from what we have seen in past couple of weeks regarding all this breakout is like, it did not follow through. So that's the only skeptical part that I'm worried about. So regardless of that, yes, there is a trading opportunity. You can make a trade if you have enough money on sideline, if you think this is one of the coin that you would want to get in. It's an altcoin. It's a speculative coin right now. This kind of coins are in very early adoption stage. So you have to understand there is a lot of risk involved when you are trading or investing in this kind of coins. So please be very mindful of those things. Do your own due diligence. Don't just rely on what I said. Do what is good for you. Next thing you probably want to do is go check out the coin. Read a little bit about it. So if you come on coincheckup.com and if you put AST, which is the ticker for AirSwap, read about the purpose of the coin. Watch their video. What is AirSwap? What does it do? What are some of the news on AirSwap? So read about those things, and that will give you an idea. So here there's a news tab here as well, that the reason of the rise of AirSwap, learn about their partner network. And so there could be something related to here that I might have missed, but I will go back and double check on those things. But technically speaking, volume is coming up. It's selling back again, but let's see. Maybe if the market improves, then it might get some bounce. The previous day bounce that you saw, I think a lot of that has to do with weakening of that BTC position as well. That will also help strengthen the position of AirSwap, because I think that AirSwap is getting the pair right now. The market right now for AirSwap is AirSwap to BTC and ETH. So that could be one of the reason it had a massive spike here. And that could be the reason the breakout occurred. Other positive sign that I see is like a MACD is trying to turn, the histogram's trying to turn bullish. That could be a good sign. So we'll find out. Okay, so just wanted to bring this up just to recap. It's trying to break out, but I'm a little bit skeptical again with all this breakout that are occurring in last 2-3 weeks, because very few of them had actually followed through to the target points. So we have to be skeptical in this kind of trades. If they're breaking out, then we need to manage our trade properly, and we need to make sure we are using our stop losses to protect our trade. Because the main thing you want to please understand one thing, when things goes bad, right, when the market goes down, everyone is suffering. Everyone is taking some kind of loss. You're not the only one, right? Everyone is taking some kind of losses. But remember, if you set up yourself well for the up position or for the up market, when that tide comes in, it's going to lift up every single boat. All right, when that tide comes in, it's going to lift up the bigger boat, smaller boat, broken boats, boats with massive hole in it, non-functional boats. So it will lift everything up when that big tide comes, right? The question is, are you going to have a good setup in your portfolio? Are you going to have good coins in your portfolio to lift those coins up when the tide come? Or are you going to just trying to break even because you are sitting in such a loss position? So those are the questions that you have to look into it, and those are the things that you really have to start learning when you're investing in this. If you don't learn this kind of things, this is as good as gambling. You might have better luck going to a casino and just throwing money at it, and you might have a better luck rather than throwing money here. Because if you are not learning anything, if you're not applying proper techniques, then it's as good as gambling, right? So And that's where when I started offering that portfolio analysis service, that was the whole goal behind that service, is like setting up your portfolio to withstand, you know, the downfall, making sure your risk tolerance, whatever kind of risk you're taking are like getting spread, and you have a, you know, overall you have a good setup in your portfolio, so you're not relying on certain coins too much. So that's one of the reason I started giving that portfolio analysis service. So you want to be very you want to be very careful on those kind of, you know, how you set up your portfolio, because everything is in red right now, and everyone have some like losing position. But the question is, when the tide comes, are you going to have that setup to take advantage of that, you know, that nice up tide? And are you going to be just coming to that break-even point, or are you actually going to be making some profit when that tide comes? So that's the real question. So please be mindful of those things, and, you know, trade like, you know, have the trading plan set up. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna be like, you know, 2 step forward, 5 step backward, is those kind of thing. And as you will get stressed out, you will get frustrated, and you will be, you know, out of the trading or investing in crypto, right? So, and that's the reality. So unfortunately, that's the reality right now. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. You know, again, I just wanted to bring this up. This is one of the coin that is trying to break out. We need to see if it can sustain this breakout right here. So you can come here and look at more about the coin fundamentals. Look at the white paper and all those good stuff. All right, talk to you soon.